Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 18th edition of Today in the World of Wrestling. And tonight we are covering the first edition of WWE Smackdown Live. It is July 26, 2016, and this is the first post-brand split episode of Smackdown. First episode of the from now on live Smackdown, and this was a very interesting show to say the least.
I personally enjoyed most of it. Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up for the first night.
I would agree. I think that this was a solid show. I think a lot of people are giving it crap because it wasn't as good as Raw, but Raw had a lot going for it, and just on a consistent basis, Raw's not going to be able to keep on one-upping themselves, but after tonight, SmackDown might be able to keep on one-upping themselves.
I would agree with that.
So, all right, let's get things started. Let's just kind of cover the big angle coming out of this show right off the bat. Shane and Daniel Bryan in the ring surrounded by the entire SmackDown roster, saying that SmackDown is basically the brand for opportunities. And they proceed to say we need a challenger for Dean Ambrose's championship at SummerSlam. So tonight, we're going to have a six-pack challenge number one contenders match. And the six superstars are going to be John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles, and then a winner of a battle royal that actually ended up starting SmackDown.
The six-pack challenge makes SmackDown distinctive from Raw straight away because they relied on Fatal 4-Ways last night, so I liked it.
Yeah, and Raw kind of felt more tournament-esque, where, you had two big matches, and the winner of those two matches face each other to determine who's going to face Seth.
Exactly.
Whereas with this, we start with this battle royal to determine the final entrant in this number one contendership six-pack challenge. And it was all right. I mean, it kept me watching the entire time. I didn't feel like I wanted to miss anything. I didn't feel like I could just kind of walk away or whatever. So obviously it wasn't horrible. But at the end of the day, the winner and your sixth entrant in the six-pack challenge was Apollo Crews.
Great choice here and illuminates the future just like Raw did the night prior.
And last eliminating Kane. So again, kind of using Kane properly here, using him to get another guy to look very legit.
Yeah, completely agree.
So then we also got an announcement tonight that Shelton Benjamin is returning, and he would be exclusive to SmackDown Live, and all we know as far as when he's coming back is that it's coming soon.
Mixed feelings, but we'll get more into it on TitWoW.
We had 3 promos tonight from different entrants in the six-pack challenge. Dolph Ziggler cut one, Baron Corbin, and then the third one was AJ Styles. Ziggler kind of focused on everything being back in his hands. He feels like he's lost sight of himself, but tonight he feels like he's more in control of his own destiny than ever, and tonight it all starts over.
Great promo from Ziggler, the most into him I've been in a long time in regards to this promo.
And Corbin, being the awesome, badass douchebag that he is, says that he's not going to win this match for someone else on the SmackDown roster, or for his mom, or for the fans. He's winning it for himself.
He could be, not an exact replica, but he could be a modern-day Kevin Nash to me with how he cuts promos and his mindset. It's great.
Definitely agree with that. And then AJ Styles promo complaining about the club not being on SmackDown. They got drafted to Raw. And of course, AJ, because he feels entitled to everything, is angry that he has to beat 5 other guys to face Dean Ambrose. Oh, and also, he's looking forward to getting to beat up John Cena.
Yeah, just great, simple heel promo here from AJ.
Becky Lynch defeated Natalya in what will hopefully be Natalya's last televised match in a few months.
A few days too late, but a good match nonetheless.
And then we had Miz TV, and he built it up like it was going to be Randy Orton. I believe he even referred to the guest being the Legend Killer, said that he got here through the evolution and he turned it into a legacy and all that stuff, and then it turned out to be himself. So he plays the role of interviewer and interviewee, and basically just kind of masturbates on screen for a few minutes. And then Randy Orton actually does show up and basically tricks Maurice into accepting a match with him for The Miz, which Orton maybe didn't dominate. Miz got the better of him because of a few, well-placed kicks. And I think Orton had a bad spill to the outside that made it look like he re-injured his shoulder. But at the end of the day, Orton hits not 1 but 2 RKOs to take The Miz out.
Yeah, I thought this was well booked. Good stuff.
I agree. Yeah. So then we got an American Alpha video package. Sadly, they were not on tonight's show, aside from just being on the ring during the first segment, but they will be on next week's show.
Oh, I hate waiting.
Yeah, I groaned big time when I saw next week. So we'll see that next week. But then, probably the most interesting part of the show, I would say, there were two segments that were really strange and kind of interesting. First one was right after the Becky Lynch Natalia match. We had Renee Young in the ring getting an interview with Becky, how happy she is. She's talking about, call me Becky Balboa, baby. And then Alexa Bliss comes out, introduces herself as SmackDown Live's hottest star, talks about how she's the physical representation of the new era. But then Naomi comes out and she starts talking. But then Carmella comes out and she starts talking. And then Eva Marie's music hits. And her music has a voiceover, and it's an announcer guy talking up how amazing she is.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more on TitWoW. But then the other segment was Heath Slater coming to the ring, beat up and tossed out of the ring some Adam Cole looking dude, probably John Skyler from NXT, if I remember those names correctly, and starts cutting a promo questioning why he wasn't drafted. And then Shane McMahon comes out and tells him, hey, man, there are better ways than this to get a job. And then Heath Slater tells Shane, look, man, if you want my resume, you can look on the WWE Network for $9.99 and you can see how great I've been my entire career. I was the mastermind behind the Nexus, the Core, 3MB, Social Outcasts. You need to sign me. And then Rhino shows up in the ring, and Shane says, I think you've got a point. I think I am looking at the hottest free agent in sports entertainment right now. And Heath gets ready to celebrate, and he turns around into a gore.
Mixed feelings about this, but I'd like to elaborate about this on TwitWoW.
So then our main event, Bray Wyatt cuts a promo talking about how change is a part of life, and tonight 5 men will fall, and soon enough at SummerSlam he will have the whole world in his hands. I'm here. And then we get into our main event of the night, Bray versus Apollo Crews versus Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles versus John Cena for the right to face Dean Ambrose for the championship at SummerSlam.
Yeah, stacked main event here.
Stacked main event, and we got a major finisher fest about 10 minutes into this main event, but who should come out on top but Dolph freaking Ziggler with a sweet chin music on AJ Styles?
Definitely a shocker to me.
Shocker of the night, I would say. And there were a few other shocks tonight that we can talk about then.
Absolutely.
So that was basically the end of the show, because then Dean Ambrose came out and Bryan and Shane both came out, and Dean and Dolph had a stare down, but no real progression happened after Dolph's victory.
Yeah, I do think Dean versus Dolph has potential, but again, I'm going to stay mum about that till TwitWoW. A lot to talk about on TwitWoW tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the man. Be sure to stay tuned for TwitWoW. That is up next.